Now we're back to the end. We've cast off all our stitches along here. Now I've got one more after this. So as our last stitch, we do exactly the same. So we've got our 2 stitches on this needle. We're then going to lift it up and over the top. Now that's the last stitch. Now what we've got to do here is gently pull. So we've got, I'm going to lie this down so you can see what I'm doing. So that's your last stitch, and it's going to look the same as your last one here is going to be the same as all the others that you've cast off. Now if you see where your wool is, it's sitting right in the middle. So when it is out, that's how you knit, because you then bring that wool through and that makes your stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it right through and we're going to very gently pull it in. Now see how it's rolling over? That's what we want to achieve. So what I'm going to do is just very gently pull that in, because when we come, and then just bring it in a little bit, not too tight, we want it to sit like that, because when we go to sew up, we're going to pick up under those 2 stitches right there. So it's really important that we don't have holes sticking out at the end, big loops. So there's our first cast off, and there's our last one. All right, now I've done the other sleeve because I wanted to show you a little bit. I've done the back as well, but I wanted to show you a few little tips for on the way up. So I've done my cast on, and we're only going to do 3 centimeters, which is about 4 rows on your ribbing. Now as we go up, it's saying on the back to measure up to a marker, to place your marker, and it's going to be 25 centimeters from that point up to where you've been knitting. All right, so it's got to be 25 centimeters. Put a marker on it there, and one on the other side as well. So now the reason for that is when you come to do your sleeves, sewing in of your sleeves, you know where that part of your sleeve starts from. And that's the reason behind having a nice stretchy cast off, because we've got to go from that point, and when we sew the shoulders together, it's got to have the same amount on the other side. So if I fold this in half to there, that there should be at my shoulder, and then I've got enough there to do my other side of the front, because this is my back. All right, so that's the reason behind making sure that you cast off nice and loose on your sleeve. Now, as you can see, there's other markers that I've put on. In the pattern, it says that when you are knitting the front part up, you've got to stop at 8 rows below the back cast off where you start. Rightio, so there's the last, oh, sorry, I'll come down, I've out too far for you. Okay, so there's our pointers. Now what I've done is 20 rows, put a marker, another 20 rows, and then another marker. Now this one from here to there is only 10 rows, and I put a marker. Now what I tried to work out from that point there was coming back 8 stitches, 8 rows, and putting a marker there. It's a lot easier to have markers than trying to count, especially when it's your first time of making a garment. Okay, so that's what I've done there. So 20 rows, Then I did 10 because I knew that I was starting. There's my armhole. I was starting to get close to the cast off edge. All right, so there's my marker for my armhole. And now that's my marker to stop when I get to that for my front. So that's the back, all the way up to there. And when you get to the top of the back, it asks you to leave 17 stitches on a needle. So this is called a stitch holder. You can buy these in packs of 3 from Crumbz, and they are really handy. They're all different sizes. So you've got this one as your smallest, then you've got a bit larger and then larger again. Okay, so that's our back, and so that's the purpose behind these markers. So get yourself some little markers and you'll find that a lot easier. So now this is my front, and as I said to you before, this is where I've got my 20 rows up to the yellow marker. I hope you can see them. Then I've done another 20 rows, and that meant that I know once I've done 10 more rows, I'm very close to where I've got to go. So that's my 10 between that marker there and that one there. So what I've done now is done my extra rows, and so now I am at the point of making the shaping of the neck. Now this part is a little bit more concentration, but it's not hard. So what I've had to do is knit 21 stitches. All right, now I'm going to turn on these 21 stitches only. So we're going to turn our work. Now you can see that your wool is on your left hand needle still. All right, but what we're going to do is we're going to continue on these 21 only, not over here on the right needle. So on this one, I've now got to purl all the way back. So as you can see, it's not as hard as what you thought. So now, once I've done this, we're going to knit back to the last 4 stitches. So if you want to continue on doing that, and then when I come back, I will show you how to start your shaping of the neck. All right? Okay. See you shortly.